Now, the first question reads, enormous effort is put into researching and marketing the perfect potato crisp, while research into stress at work, for example, is ignored. How important are staff working conditions? Should employers research and improve the working conditions of their staff, or should they concentrate more on their product? So, of course, when we look at an IELTS essay question, the entire question itself is important. So from up here to here, the entire thing is important. But when we want to figure out what kind of essay we're going to write, it's really the question, this part in here, that's important. When we look at this question, we see how important are staff working conditions. Should employers research and improve the working conditions of their staff, or should they concentrate more on their product? There are no real direct instructions. So there's nothing that says discuss or refute or argue or analyze. It's more just asking what our opinion is. So when we're given a question like this, if this was our IELTS essay question, well, we could choose to write an argument essay or a discussion essay. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, the delay, just copying here. Paste. In many countries, children are engaged in some kind of paid work. Some people regard this as completely wrong, while others consider it as valuable work experience, important for learning and taking responsibility. What is your opinion on this? So once again, now we're given a question, and this question has a very large body to it. Not really asking, the only thing that's asking us to do something is this last little section in here, the question, which is, what is your opinion on this? Now, like the first question, this is not really stating that we need to argue a certain point, or we need to refute a certain point, or we need to discuss a certain point. It's asking what our opinion is. So we could choose, once again, to write an argument essay or a discussion essay based on this question. Okay, if we take a such as this one. Okay, now this is a little bit different. Should wealthy nations be required to share their wealth among poorer nations by providing such things as food and education? Analyze all sides of this claim and provide a reasoned opinion. Now this question is different than the first two, in that it is telling us specifically what we are to do. Now, the instruction is right in here. Analyze all sides of this claim. So when we're when we're told this, we know that we're going to be looking at some different opinions about the same subject. And of course, the only type of do this is in a discussion essay. So if we were given a question like this, we would go with responding in a discussion essay format. Okay, let's try question number 4. Okay, question number 4 reads, often with the seas a tremendous amount of natural litter in the form of fallen leaves. Municipal governments must often spend additional money to ensure that this waste is cleaned up. Support an argument that claims this money would be better spent servicing the needy, as opposed to the beauty of a community. So a little bit more complicated than the other questions. But this one, like question number 3, is what we must do. So if you want to take a second and look at the question, maybe you can pinpoint the area that's telling us exactly what we need to do. And that's this area in here. Support an argument that claims that this money would be better spent servicing the needy as opposed to the beauty of a community. And if we're given instructions like this, which is we're supposed to have one opinion, well, of course, this is an argument essay. Okay, now I have two more essay questions, and I thought what we could do is I'll stick them up here, we'll read them together, and you can think for yourself what kind of essay you would write based on these questions. So here's the first one. The rise of violence on television coincides of crime in the USA and is therefore the root of the problem. Refute this statement. So, looking at this question, so the rise of violence on television coincides with the rise of crime in the USA and is therefore the root of the problem. Refute this statement. And if you are thinking of writing an argument essay, you would be correct. So if we look at the question, right at the end it says refute this statement. Very direct. It's not telling us to discuss. It's not telling us to look at different opinions. It is telling us exactly, do not support what this says. Okay. Another question. Okay. Over the past 50 years, more and more marriages are ending in divorce. However, the trend is reciprocated by the rise in communication technology. For example, mobile phones, networking websites, and messenger software. Thus, a link between the two must be assumed. Write an essay analyzing both sides of the statement. Okay, and if you're thinking of writing a discussion essay for this, well, you would be correct. So in this essay question, it's specifically telling us analyze both sides of the statement. It is not saying choose your opinion and prove this opinion. It wants you to look at both sides. So if this was the essay question you're given, well, you would have to write a discussion essay to respond to it correctly. Okay, so I hope that that's helpful. And if you're interested in more, please visit my website. Thank you for listening.